For this class, you will need watercolor paint. You can get it in the form of solid pans of paint or in tubes. You'll also need a paint palette or a sturdy scrap of paper to mix the paint. And of course, you'll need water. It's good to have 1 or 2 cups of water on hand. You can use one for dipping in new water for your paintbrush, and one for cleaning off the old color on your brush. Or you can just empty out and refill your water as you go. Then you will need some watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is made especially to absorb all the water that is used in watercolor painting. There are different textures and thicknesses of watercolor paper. A smooth watercolor paper is referred to as a hot press paper, while textured watercolor paper is referred to as cold press. Even paper made especially for watercolor can bend and dimple with all the water it absorbs, unless it is a very thick or heavyweight paper like a 300-pound weight paper. This is more expensive. The paper itself does not weigh 300 pounds, but refers to how it was made. For this course, I'm mostly using a middle-of-the-road, mid-weight, 140-pound weight paper. These fluid, hot-press finish watercolor blocks are a great option. It's held down on the sides and keeps the paper from bending too much while you are working. If you want to practice some watercolor techniques without wasting too much paper, you can get a mixed media 98-pound paper sketchbook. It's a cheaper option for making mini composition studies and just getting used to watercolor painting. Since watercolor paper does dimple and doesn't often come in a block held down on its sides, you might want to get some masking tape to tape it down. It will hold down the paper as you work. I use Blue Painter's masking tape. You'll need some brushes. A round tip brush is a standard watercolor brush. You can get them in a variety of sizes. A flat brush is also helpful for setting down big smooth layers of paint. I find that a round tip brush in some different sizes and a larger flat brush works well for most of my projects. You will also need a pencil. Some of these projects will need to be lightly penciled out before painting. A standard 2B pencil like you use in school will be fine. Colored pencils as well for adding final details after painting. Faber-Castell is a quality choice for colored pencils. If you like children's book illustration, colored pencils go great with watercolor. Now that we have gathered all our materials, we are ready to paint.